morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Libertor.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And right around freezing. The good news, though, we're dry at least.
Yes, dry start to your day today, and I mentioned we're talking about strong winds. The winds are calm right now, so it's, I guess, the calm before the storm. But let's take a look at what we're expecting today. First off, I want to dive into what these warnings and advisories mean. So here's the map, and here's which sections of the map are labeled as such. Wind advisories in the tan area, and then high wind warnings for the areas in gold color, goldish color. And the reasoning for this difference here is that there could be some strong gusts here in the tan areas, but the biggest concern for strong wind gusts, potentially as high as 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts embedded in some of these showers moving through this evening, will be strengthening as they push through the Mohawk Valley and south. A lot less of a chance of them firing up if you live up in the Adirondacks. But we'll dive into this in a lot more detail coming up shortly. In the meantime, again, it's a quiet start to your day today. Temperatures ranging in the 30s across the area. Frosty start to your day in the Mohawk Valley, 31 in Rome, 32 Hamilton. It is warmer, though, heading out to western New York in the mid to even upper 40s, pushing near 50 outside of Buffalo. But again, today we start out dry with a few clouds as we approach the afternoon. Rain chances increase ahead of that cold front expected to arrive between roughly 7 to 9 p.m. tonight. And with that, some pretty strong winds will follow that. We'll track the potential power outage chances as well as what looks ahead into Thursday and eventually Friday straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Zohran Mamdani has been elected.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. Time now just turned 5:13 on this Wednesday morning. Good morning, everybody. And we begin today with a look at your forecast in a minute. A quick look at it as you head out the door today. First off, a live look at current conditions. 31 degrees officially at Griffiths and Rome, potentially some patchy frost depending on location. Calm winds right now and a brisk feel of 31 degrees with those calm winds, so wind chill's not that significant. But as you progress throughout the day, we're going to see some stronger winds work their way in. Yorkville Battery Live radar shows elevated moisture, but this is not reaching the ground. So despite it showing freezing rain potential, that's not the case here locally. So today, there's potentially strong damaging winds and embedded wind gusts along this front moving through this evening. Again, rough timing is going to be 7 to 9 p.m. tonight. Earlier out west, later out east. Lingering winds on Thursday, and then we're still tracking breezy conditions toward the end of the week. But either way, the next 3 days, we have rain late, strong winds taking place. Tomorrow, lingering drizzle, high 44. And then on Friday, 53 the temperature with some rainfall arriving again later on in the evening. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Authorities say 3 crew members were on board.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today we start out quiet and dry, but weather activity definitely picks up as we head into the afternoon. We'll look at the bigger picture right now and see how things are going to shape up again throughout the day today. So first off, on our doorstep, we've got an area of low pressure. This is what we've been tracking the past couple of days, but the concern has risen with the potential for some strong winds. As you see here, this warm front moves in, and then there's the backside cold front. Along that blue line right there, there could be some embedded wind gusts, potentially as high as 40 to 60 miles per hour. But those gusts are isolated, but there's still the potential for it, which is why there's an alert day in effect today for this. In the wake of that, we're going to see some still strong winds in the backside of this in the late evening into the overnight. By Thursday afternoon, the winds are going to weaken a little bit more as we do dry up for the most part. But again, either way, we have high wind warnings in effect for the areas in gold and wind advisories for the areas in tan. So if you're in the gold area, there's a higher risk for those winds to potentially be on the stronger side. In fact, let's look at those wind gusts here using our in-house model. So this early afternoon, those of you in the southern valley, especially the hilltops north of Route 20, you'll see the strongest wind gusts initially. Then, as we head into the evening around 8 p.m., look at this, widespread winds between 30 and 40 mile per hour gusts. And then again, those isolated spots could be even higher too. Then we'll still see some blustery conditions overnight. Winds will still be pretty decent on Thursday, but not nearly as strong before more strong winds arrive heading into Friday. But again, this is not looking to be that damaging by any means. But either way, again, we have an alert day in effect this evening. Between 6 and 9 p.m., that's when alert mode's in effect. We have potential for power outages and some isolated wind damage possible as well. So that's the concern for today. There are still some rain chances moving in, but you can see the radar showing elevated moisture not reaching the ground. But by this evening, this is when that rain really moves in. A brief window of showers in the early afternoon, and then you can see here by the evening, there's that front. Widespread rain pushing through, lingering lake effect showers, and even a few flurries mixing in heading into Thursday morning. And then by Thursday afternoon, we do dry up. But with that front moving in again, there's that risk for some strong winds. That's the biggest concern today. And then following that, we've got more rain chances arriving late Friday, early Saturday, and then another system that arrives Sunday. This one is going to produce a big difference in the weather pattern, producing cool enough temperatures for some snow showers in portions of New York State. As I mentioned yesterday, there's possible lake effect heading into Veterans Day, but it's still too early to figure out the amount and exactly where. But we're going to follow that over the next few days and have more updates on that potential lake effect system.
Hold on to your hat today.
Yes, very blustery.
Eric, thanks. The time right now is 5:21 again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Libitor. Get ready to hold on to your hats later today. Meteorologist Eric Gage over in the Weather Center, and those winds that are forecasted are pretty strong.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, with that strong wind potential, we have high wind warnings in effect for sections of the area. Let's dive into it right here. So the areas in gold right here are under a high wind warning. See that zone right there? That means that's the highest risk zone for wind gusts getting as high as 40, 50 miles an hour. Some places embedded in those thunderstorms could get high as 60. Not extremely likely, but the possibility is there. And then we have still, regardless, widespread wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour expected, which is why the rest of the area under a wind advisory. Did you see this in the sky last night? This looks like it could be maybe a UFO or something, but no, this is actually a rocket launch. We had a Falcon rocket launch about a month or so ago that had a similar sight in the sky. This is the Ariane 6 from French, I believe it's French Guiana, from that country there. So this is a rocket launch you can see from space, or see out in space. So amazing photo right there. If you got to capture it yesterday, just if you wonder what it was, that's what it is. So downtown Utica, live view, and it's a quiet, calm morning. Temperatures around 30 degrees. And the winds not that strong just yet. But as we progress throughout the afternoon, winds strengthen, rainfall arrives. We're going to dive into those wind gusts, the timing of this rainfall, all that and more coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The results are in.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Our photo of the day today gives us a glimpse of the full moon in the night sky, which at this point in time, or at least this time of the year, is called the Beaver Moon. And look at this amazing shot sent in to us by a frequent submitter, Mark Minter, from Mark Minter Photography. But as you can see here, we have a gorgeous shot of that moon. Yes, it's covered a little bit by the clouds, but I feel like the clouds added a bit of a nice touch to this picture here. Any of you who were out later last night, we had some altocumulus clouds. Basically, just all those very small, puffy, almost cotton ball looking clouds way up in the sky, which gave us a very unique look at the full moon. So amazing photo right here. If you have one of the full moon you'd like to share with us or any other fall or November-like photos, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. So today we start out quiet. This morning it's dry, winds are calm, but activity picks up as we head throughout the afternoon with some stronger winds and rainfall arriving. Now, lingering drizzle possible on Thursday, more rain late Friday, and then again as we head into Sunday. So we do have some more opportunities for rainfall and some stronger winds. We're going to dive into that wind speed strength today, later on in the day today, coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. On Election Day, students with
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. Today we start out dry, quiet, calm, but this evening, and especially this afternoon, favoring much more in terms of active weather. Let's dive into it. Take a look right now at our bigger picture. We zoom out across much of the Northeast and see what's going on here on the bigger scale in the atmosphere. And we can see we have low pressure moving in from the west. This is going to bring us rainfall chances today. But more importantly, the backside of the system here, this cold front, is going to drag in some stronger wind gusts as that system pushes its way east. On the backside of it, much cooler air moves in, enough for some lake effect response. For the most part, lake effect rain, but some of you might see a wintry mix, maybe some graupel or even some flurries in those higher elevations. So this is the overall synoptic look at the setup today. In the meantime, again, we do have high wind warnings in effect for the areas in gold here, including southern Oneida County, southern Herkimer County, and all of Otsego County. It looks like Madison and Chenango County were removed from this alert, but I wouldn't rule it out for those counties today. Maybe ruling it out toward Onondaga County, but basically if you're in the Mohawk Valley or south of it, that's the best shot of seeing these strong winds today. And how strong will they be? Well, initially in the early to mid-afternoon, we're going to have a strong south wind. So hilltops south of the Mohawk Valley, we'll see gusts potentially 30 to 40 miles per hour. But then the backside of this front rolls through, and pretty much everywhere in the Mohawk Valley and south could see wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Some as high as 50 and 60 in embedded wind gusts along this front, which could even produce thunderstorms. Despite it being that cold out, there is some instability there, and the front is pretty strong to produce that. And so, again, we have an alert day in effect, and we go into effect for this between 6 and 9 p.m. So we're not in alert mode right now. There's no concerning weather for your morning commute or even in the early afternoon. But again, just remain weather aware because these winds could produce some power outages and possible minor damage. Live radar shows elevated moisture right now. For the most part, that's not really reaching the ground. Maybe, again, a few flurries or sprinkles up north. But today we'll see a better shot for rainfall this afternoon and between 6 and 9 p.m. I'm thinking more towards 7 to 8 p.m. in a lot more focused detail for that forecast for the rainfall to roll through. Then lingering lake effect showers and flurries heading into the overnight hours and early Thursday, drying up Thursday evening. And as a quick recap, again, we do have a marginal risk for severe weather today, despite it, again, being cool, the biggest risk being some embedded wind gusts along said cold fronts. Following today, we are no longer in alert mode for Thursday. Friday, rain showers arrive late. And then as we head into Saturday, morning rain showers turn to dry afternoon, but there's more rain on the way Sunday, turning over to potentially some snow heading into Monday and Tuesday next week.
Definitely keep your eye on that one.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. The time right now is
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Wednesday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we are talking temperatures right about freezing. The good news, it's dry.
Yes, dry. It's a little chilly, but it's a quiet morning out there. But this afternoon, maybe a little bit of a different story.
Yeah.
Hold on to your hats, to put it lightly. Let's take a look at what we're expecting today. First off, the elephant in the room, we have a high wind warning in effect for the areas in gold. This includes southern Oneida County, southern Herkimer County, and all of Otsego County. And you can see basically the difference here. High wind warning and a wind advisory in the areas in tan. Now, personally, I think that Madison and Shenango County should still be included in the warning zone. Again, we don't issue these, the Weather Service does, but we do agree with the fact that the areas in gold are warranted for this type of warning due to potential wind gusts today as high as 40 to 50 miles per hour. Some spots, isolated gusts even a little bit higher. So we'll dive into that wind potential later on this morning, but still just a heads up. This timing is roughly between 6 and 9 p.m. tonight. So for now, we're not in alert mode. It's a quiet morning out there, live look at downtown Utica. If you were looking at the night sky last night, if you saw this, it looks very unique. Wondering if it's a UFO or whatnot. It's actually the Ariane 6. It was launched from French Guiana. So in this type of scenario, you can actually see the rocket launches in certain night sky settings like what we saw last night. About a month ago, we saw the Falcon rocket launch too. So if you're wondering what it was, don't worry, we're not getting invaded. It's by aliens. It's just a rocket launch. Temperatures in the 30s across the area. As I mentioned, it is a quiet, calm morning out there today. And as we progress throughout the morning, we'll see the temperatures climb into the mid-50s, but we'll see rain chances increase, and between, again, that 6 to 9 p.m. time frame, that's where the winds are expected to be very strong, potentially damaging. We're going to dive into that in a lot more detail coming up in just a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Zoran Mamdani.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. Time now, 6:13. Here's what you can expect as you head out to work today or heading out anywhere today in your forecast in a minute. First off, we take a look at what's going on outside right now. Temperature 33 degrees, a bit chilly out there. Some spots might even see some frost. But either way, the winds are calm right now, so that wind chill not that low just yet. But we'll see those winds pick up as we progress throughout the afternoon. In the meantime, Yorkville Battery Live radar showing even some snow moving its way up north. As far as I can see right here on some of our cameras and whatnot, this is just elevated moisture. It's not quite reaching the ground, but any of you who live up in the Adirondacks, if you want to put out a report, if you do see anything, be sure to let us know. But either way, this moves through and it remains much on the dry side for the next few hours. There's potentially strong and damaging winds today. With the arrival of a strong cold front this evening, timing roughly 6 to 9 p.m. Then following that, it's still remaining a bit of a blustery stretch heading into the end of the week and into the weekend. But in the meantime, again today, along with those strong winds, we're tracking some rainfall in the mid-afternoon and beyond through this evening, and then lingering drizzle flurries from lake effect overnight into early Thursday. It does dry up throughout the day. And there's more rainfall arriving late on Friday. So when it comes to weather, a little bit unsettled. We're going to dive into again that wind risk today coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
We were due.
Yeah, it's been a while, Gary.
That's for sure. Eric, thanks. Authorities say 3.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Today we start out dry, chilly, with calm winds, but it's a much different story as we head throughout the afternoon, especially into this evening. We look at the reason why here in our bigger picture. Here's a look at the larger scale side of things, zooming out across the Northeast. And we are tracking the arrival of an area of low pressure. As it moves its way eastward, we have rainfall moving in this afternoon, and then a trailing cold front. See that blue line right there? That's going to pull its way east, and it's going to fire up potentially a few rumbles of thunder, some heavier rain, and more importantly, some strong winds, especially in the backside of the system. Strong westerly winds rolling through the area, lingering lake effect initially early Thursday. It does dry up throughout the day, but we'll talk about Thursday here coming up shortly. I want to focus more on the winds today, though. As you can see here, high wind warnings in effect for the areas in gold. And personally, Madison, Chenango County could also be included in that. Officially, they are not in a high wind warning right now, but anywhere basically in the Mohawk Valley and south, you have a higher chance of seeing those wind gusts, potentially as high as 40 to 50 miles per hour. Now, initially this afternoon, as you can see here, wind gusts will be strongest south of the Mohawk Valley in those hilltops, in those higher elevations. Then, the backside of that front rolls through. Here's around 8 p.m. You can see these are very strong winds. Wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Some spots as high as 50, pushing 60 in some of those embedded storms. The storm chance not very high, but it is still there due to the strong nature of this cold front. And it does remain breezy heading into Thursday and Thursday afternoon. So we will be in alert mode between 6 and 9 p.m. tonight. So right now we're not in alert mode. There's no concern driving to work today or even for your lunch break or whatnot. It is a quiet early half of the day today. But the reasoning for this alert day, there's potential outages and minor damage possible with some of these stronger winds. Radar picking up on elevated moisture, at least a few elevated flurries up north, but besides that, it is pretty much entirely quiet here locally. As we approach the afternoon, you can see that widespread rain rolling its way in. Here's that cold front. You can see here the winds really starting to pick up on the backside of it. And along with those strong winds, lake effect, spotty showers and flurries, even some grapple mixing in too before we dry out as we head into Thursday afternoon. Your 7-day forecast, we've got some pretty chilly temperatures overnight tonight, and for much of Thursday, it's barely going to even really hit the low 40s. Then rainfall arrives again late Friday. Saturday, early morning showers drying up, but more rain arriving again on Sunday. And then a cooler pattern heading into Veterans Day. But again, when it comes to weather today, it's quiet right now, but just hold on to your hats as we head into the evening.
And with those overnight temperatures, no chance of snow, though, right?
Yeah, no chance of snow. Maybe, well, there could even be some frost, but with their strong winds, frost really not that likely. So it's just a chilly overnight.
Yeah. Get ready.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. Be sure to like us on Facebook. And thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore. If you're getting ready to head out the door this morning, you might want to bundle up. It is quite chilly out there. And Eric, at least it's dry, right?
Yes, it's a dry start, a quiet and calm start wind-wise, Gary. But see here behind me, got some wind warnings in effect today, and this is for this afternoon. So again, you're heading out this morning to the bus stop, you're heading out to work. You won't really need to worry about anything too much, aside from the fact that it's a bit chilly out there. But we do have high wind warnings in effect for areas in the gold and the wind advisory for areas in tan. I'll explain what that means in a lot more detail coming up shortly. But basically, later on this evening between 6 and 9 p.m., there's a front that moves through, bringing some strong, potentially damaging winds. Again, we're going to dive into that in a lot more detail coming up momentarily. Downtown Utica, a live view outside. It is a quiet start to your day today. A few clouds rolling through, and while most of the overnight was relatively clear, we had the chance of witnessing this. If you wonder what this looked like in the night sky, it looks almost like a alien spacecraft. It's actually a rocket launch. It's the Ariane 6 from French Guiana that was launched. So we had a view of it too with the clear skies, along with, of course, the full moon. And might have a photo of the day here for that coming up shortly too. 33 degrees of temperature at Griffiths and Rome. It is a chilly start to your day today. But again, as we progress throughout the afternoon, the winds pick up, rain chances increase. We're going to dive into the arrival of that rainfall and again, talk about those wind speeds and wind gusts coming up shortly. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The results are in. And
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise, everybody, on this Wednesday. Our photo of the day today takes us to the night sky. We got to see the full beaver moon last night, and this is a great shot sent in to us by frequent submitter Mark Minter from Minter Photography. And a great shot here, not only of the moon, but even of a few clouds, which, yes, blocking the sight here a little bit, but if any of you were up later on last night, you got to see some of those very unique bright clouds lit up by that moonlight there. And those are altocumulus clouds. And you got to see those very small cotton ball looking clouds. Again, light up the night sky. It was a great scene last night. And if you have a photo like this showcasing the full beaver moon, anything in the night sky, or even any fall November-like photos, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. A quick look at your 7-day forecast. We have rain chances hit or miss the next few days. More importantly, rainfall later on in the day today and some strong winds. We're going to talk about those potentially damaging winds across the area coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. 1,000 Americans.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today we start out dry, calm, and quiet, but as we look ahead to this afternoon, a much different story is on our radar. Let's take a look at what's going on in the bigger picture. We zoom out across the Northeast. We have a low pressure system arriving from the west. This is going to move its way through our area and provide us with a couple of things. For one, widespread rain, but more importantly, some stronger wind gusts in the backside of this cold front. Strong north winds, northwest winds, I should say, moving in, produces even some lingering lake effect. But again, back to those winds, there are wind advisories and high wind warnings in effect for pretty much all sections of New York State. The gold area is where those high wind warnings are currently. And when it comes to the highest risk for any severe wind gusts, this is for the areas in the Mohawk Valley and south. Now, Madison, Chenango County aren't included in this. Personally, I wouldn't rule it out. So if you are anywhere in the Mohawk Valley and south, that's those strongest wind gusts are likely. In fact, let's look at those potential wind gusts today. Now, early part of this afternoon, 3:30, the winds are going to be a strong south direction, and it's going to be mainly impacting the hilltops south of the Mohawk Valley. Then the cold front works through this evening, and you can see here the winds are pretty widespread. Wind gusts as high as 30 to 40 miles per hour, some spots even as high as 50 miles an hour. Either way, it's going to be a very windy one this evening, and it will still remain pretty blustery heading into the rest of the work week. But because of those strong winds, we are going to be in alert mode between 6 and 9 p.m. tonight. So I want to emphasize this is a brief window of strong winds as we head into tonight. Today, though, early today, this morning, this afternoon, we are not in alert mode. So there's no impacts to travel or anything like that early today. But the main reason why we put in alert mode is potential for power outages and minor wind damage associated with that. Live radar shows quiet conditions. Yes, we have some moisture up north. It's not quite reaching the ground just yet, but as we head throughout the afternoon, there's a better shot for that to move in. As you can see here, the Skycast pulls in some rainfall initially in the mid-afternoon, and then by the evening, there's that cold front. Widespread rain, even some thunder mixing in too. And then some scattered lake effect showers, even a few flurries overnight, which will dry up as we head throughout Thursday. So again, alert day in effect today, rain showers arriving late Friday into early Saturday, with more rain again on Sunday, and then a pattern change takes place with snow chances, lake effect snow chances in parts of the state heading into Veterans Day next week. But again, today, hold on to your hats, especially this evening, with those strong winds and some widespread rain.
We will definitely keep our eye on it throughout the day today. Well, to celebrate Election Day,
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we are starting out with what is expected to be one windy day today.
Yes, and for now, the winds aren't that strong, but as you progress throughout the evening, that's when they could be pretty strong indeed. Let's take a look right now at what areas are included in these high wind warnings. They were expanded to Madison and Onondaga counties within the last couple of hours. Now, for some reason, Chenango County was not included personally. I think at least parts of Chenango County would warrant this. But either way, if you are in the Mohawk Valley and south, that's your best shot of seeing high wind possibility. And what do you mean by high winds? Well, right now, here's the latest current wind speed. And as expected, the southern valleys, the hilltops right there, getting hit with the strongest winds so far. Look at this, sustained 26-mile-per-hour winds out in Buffalo. So you can see the winds are a lot stronger out west. They are headed in our direction. Wind gusts are approaching 43 miles an hour in Buffalo out in western New York, and still 25 miles per hour in Hamilton. A huge dip or a drop off as you head north. But we are tracking out to the west, that approaching frontal boundary that's going to really increase that strength in terms of those winds here locally. Sorry, I'm looking at some of these clouds here in the top. I'll have to look at the camera here in a second, zoom it up here. This might be a very interesting cloud formation here, but sorry, I did not see the camera here just yet. Either way, it is a dry start to the day. Temperatures are in the 40s right now with clouds increasing, but rain is on the way as well as those strong winds. We'll dive into the arrival time coming up in a few minutes, as well as, of course, that rain chance as well. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Governor Hochul has directed state agencies to prepare for...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's so far turned out pretty quiet to start your day today, but the winds are going to start picking up in a couple of hours. We aren't in alert mode right now, but as we head into the mid to late evening, that's when you want to make sure you are aware weather-wise of this approaching wind. Now, why are we concerned? What's the big deal that there are wind warnings in effect when this is what appears to be low pressure, like a normal system that's moving through the area? Well, the main thing is this is a very strong cold front, and on the backside of it, you've got this large cold air mass slingshotting its way into the area, and that is going to produce some very strong backside winds along this trailing cold front here, and that is what's going to be causing that high wind concern looking forward to tonight. In fact, we'll take a look at the wind warnings. Again, this includes mainly locations in the Mohawk Valley and south. The center of low pressure is going to move almost directly over us, so those of you up north, you're not going to see the slingshot effect of that wind, which is why wind warnings are not in effect for Hamilton, Northern Herkimer, and Lewis counties. Still could see some strong winds, but the biggest concern again is the Mohawk Valley and south. As you can see here, high wind warnings in the gold and the tan are just wind advisories. And the wind speeds pick up again this afternoon. You can see here mainly from the south and then from the west as we head into, say, 7, 8 o'clock tonight. And these gusts could be as high as 40, 50 miles an hour. So because of that, there's potential for power outages and minor damage. That's why we are in alert mode tonight. In the meantime, here's a look at our power outage index. It's something that we use to kind of identify if there is a chance. And this is not something alarming. This would be higher, say, for example, if this was an ice storm or a heavy snowstorm. But in this case, it's just wind-driven. So isolated outages are possible due to those strong winds. Radar showing us right now that approaching rainfall. Those of you in the north of the Mohawk Valley will see the rain first, and then we'll see more of that widespread rain heading into later on this evening. As you can see here, timing-wise, here's that rainfall moving through this afternoon, and then a better shot for those showers, even some few thunderstorms, thunder and lightning mixed in with that heading into this evening. Strong winds between 7 o'clock through, say, the early overnight hours. Lingering strong winds with mix of lake effect rain, even a few snow showers and higher elevations possible as we progress to early Thursday. But by Thursday afternoon, we do dry up, the skies clear out, and then things quiet down a little bit. It's still a bit windy heading in throughout the remainder of the day Thursday. Friday starts out dry. There's more rainfall arriving late Friday. And then as we approach the weekend, there's lingering showers Saturday, drying up, more rainfall arriving again on Sunday, and that system is going to produce a much bigger dip in the jet stream. And that's important because as the jet stream dips down, we're going to get potential for snowfall, lake effect snow on the backside of that. So it's that time of year as we head toward Veterans Day. But again, today, just make sure you're weather aware between 6 and 9 p.m.
And all three of you are going to be busy in that weather center.
Yes, very busy today.
That's for sure. Eric, thank you. Well, it was noon once again, and thank you for joining us. The big story today for us, the winds.
Yes, winds going to be picking up this evening, especially into tonight. In fact, again, we have a look at right here our weather alerts. And I want to emphasize, too, when it comes to those who have questions regarding garbage pickup, on a day like, or at least an evening like tonight, you can, if you want to hold off, you could also deliver said trash bins to your local trash collecting area. But either way, your garbage cans might be flying a bit farther down the road with some of these wind speeds. And I'll show you what I mean here coming up shortly. But either way, high wind warnings in effect for the areas in gold. This primarily impacts Mohawk Valley and south. Currently, winds right now are from the south, and they are strengthening out in western New York. In fact, that wind direction is going to shift slowly. Currently, wind gusts around 31 miles per hour in Hamilton, nearing 50 miles an hour out in Buffalo. Currently, though, east-southeast winds at Griffiths and Rome, 47 degrees. The temperature right now feels like 43 with that wind chill. So what does this wind speed mean for you guys tonight? Well, I'll explain the strength of these winds, the potential concerns that we have with it. This is not extremely dangerous, but this could be producing some potential outages and whatnot. We're going to dive into that. Again, all that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. California Governor Gavin.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. With the strong winds expected this evening, if you are one of the streets that puts out your garbage today, I will say that your trash can might become your neighbor's trash can. Now, unless you find ways to secure it, the Oneida Herkimer Solid Waste Authority has a couple tips I want to share with you guys. So if possible, just hold on to your garbage and recycling until your next collection day. If you want, use containers with lids, or if you need to bring it and you don't want to put your garbage out worrying that your garbage can might be again down the road, bring your garbage and recycling to the Utica or Rome Eco Drop facility. Garbage is $2 a bag and recycling is free. So those are the options in case you don't want to have, again, your trash become your neighbor's trash. Bigger picture shows this low pressure system moving its way eastward, and the big story about this is the strong winds. It's going to be dragging in some cooler air and some additional lake effect rain, even a few flurries in those higher elevations. And of course, because of that strong wind, we do have high wind warnings in effect for the Mohawk Valley and south, wind advisories for areas to the north. So if you are in the Adirondacks, you're not expected to see the strongest winds. In fact, we can see it right here. Here's that initial wave of strong winds. This arrives in the mid-afternoon. It's a strong south wind, so the hilltop south of Mohawk Valley will see the highest wind amounts. Then as we approach the evening hours, 7 to 9 p.m., the backside of that front producing strong wind gusts between 40 and 50 miles an hour, which is why we are in alert mode. It's due to those potential embedded wind gusts that could produce scattered power outages and minor damage. And the alert mode will kick in roughly around 6 o'clock. So again, right now, we are not in alert mode, but as we head into the evening, make sure you're weather aware. We zoom out, we are still tracking the arrival of rainfall, initially impacting locations north of the Mohawk Valley initially, and then we'll see more showers work their way in for the rest of the area heading into this evening. In fact, we can see right here the initial arrival of rainfall, then a brief shower south. The actual notable front moves in around 7 to 8 p.m., and this is going to produce maybe some embedded thunderstorms too. So maybe a rumble of thunder can't be ruled out. some stronger wind gusts embedded with that too. And then on the back side of that front, strong winds, lake effect response here with some few showers, maybe a few flurries in those hilltop locations. We do dry up as we had throughout Thursday. The winds will still be strong, but not nearly as strong as late this evening. So our thoughts are that we'll be out of alert mode by the mid-morning Thursday. But again, it kicks in this evening. We'll continue to the end of the overnight until the winds do weaken. We have more rain chances arriving late Friday into early Saturday. Another round of rain arriving again on Sunday. This is something we're tracking too, because notice here we got some snowfall icons on our 7-day heading toward Veterans Day. Might be a little bit on the snowy side in parts of New York State. Again, it's too early to have a fine-tuned forecast on where and how much that snow could be, but again, I think our main focus right now is on the winds today, and they're pretty strong, Gary. So make sure you find ways to keep your garbage from make sure it's secured, it's fastened, or just hold off on putting it out until next week.
Yeah, good tips there, that's for sure. Otherwise, you can see up and down the street.
You don't want to see that.
Crazy. Eric, thanks. Well, 1,000.
This is tracking what to expect.
Yeah, we got this cold front coming in, and we're expecting this to pick up in the next 2 to 3 hours. So this should be a pretty dramatic change soon. We can see the leading edge of this cold front out towards Syracuse, and when this arrives, the wind direction turns into the west, and it's that leading edge that could potentially produce 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Now, just looking at some of the data and the current conditions, it's been much colder across the Mohawk Valley today than we were expecting. We're only in the 40s, and I think that cold weather near the surface might end up lessening the blow, at least with the initial push. But still, we all want to be prepared for this regardless, but I think the strongest winds are going to end up being just south of the Mohawk Valley. Could see wind gusts up to 50 to 60 miles an hour. The winds out to the west, just starting Buffalo 43 miles an hour, Rochester 24. We're going to keep an eye on this over the next couple of hours as this wall of wind moves in from the west. Our current temperature, again, at Griffiths and Roma is 44 degrees. And heading into tonight, again, we're tracking rain and wind overnight. A few flurries are possible early tomorrow morning. Not expecting any big issues there, but might be a surprise. We're talking about temperatures in the 40s this evening with rain and wind. A very active weather pattern ahead. We're going to look at the forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
Bill, thank you. National Grid said overnight in preparation. Grid says it's increasing staffing overnight in preparation of the wind and the damage it could cause. And the company has secured external resources to support power restoration efforts. Here's what you can be doing. You're going to keep your generator outside, but if you have to use it, make sure you disconnect from the National Grid system first. Have your phone charged and a flashlight handy, and stay away from downed power lines. If you depend on electrically powered life support like a respirator, National Grid needs to know now. Call 1-800-642-4272. And the Oneida Herkimer Solid Waste Authority wants to keep garbage from flying around the neighborhood. So if tonight is your trash night, be sure that your garbage and recycling bins have secure lids. And another option is to just hold it until your next collection day if you can.
The driver of a cement truck that rolled over in
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good evening. We are in alert mode. We are closely watching a cold front moving in from the west. This is expected to produce some strong winds this evening. For most of us, that wind gust will be about 40 to 50 miles an hour. So it's not really strong. It's not going to create a massive amount of damage, but it could cause some scattered power outages, and it could still be problematic. So I don't want to downplay this, but I also just want to recognize that it could be worse. Live look in downtown Utica. We are tracking some rain. The winds are going to pick up over the next couple of hours. I think it starts close to between about 6 to 9 p.m. starts sooner to the west and later to the east. And the worst of this looks to be from just south of the Mohawk Valley. I think where temperatures are in the 50s this evening, there is going to be a better chance of hitting 50 miles an hour in terms of wind speed for a brief time as that front rolls through. Winds are going to continue tonight between about 30 to 40 miles an hour, and it's still breezy tomorrow. It won't be quite as windy. Now, tonight, for the Mohawk Valley and North Country, the winds won't be quite as severe. Still thinking 40 to 50 miles an hour in the Mohawk Valley. North of the Mohawk Valley, 30 to 40 miles an hour. Tomorrow, again, it's breezy. The winds will become lighter throughout the day, and then the winds go calm heading into tomorrow night. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. You can see the leading edge of this front. You can see the yellow showing up pretty well on the radar. This is the cold front. This is where the winds are going to be developing as this heads to the east. And again, we're expecting plenty of rain here for tonight. As the cold front rolls through, there will be a changeover from rain to snow on the very tail end of this, and we could be talking about some flurries. So again, this is the what to expect timeline. Some strong winds and heavy rain this evening. It's windy with rain showers. They briefly turn to snow showers tonight. And again, scattered power outages are possible this evening and tonight. The highest chance will be this evening, and then the chances get lower throughout tonight as the winds will slowly diminish. And then Thursday should be an okay day. Breezy, but no problems here. Just a couple of flurries in the morning along with some sunshine. Reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. So again, this low pressure system swings through. Rain briefly turns to snow tonight. There could be a minor accumulation north of the Mohawk Valley. Temperatures will start out in the 30s tomorrow morning with a couple of flurries in the air. Clouds give way to sunshine. Temperatures climb into the 40s. The weather looks dry in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, clouds thicken up. It's a generally cloudy Friday with rain returning late in the day. South wind developing, temperatures near 50 degrees. Tonight, rain and snow showers, windy, low of 36. Tomorrow, flurries in the morning, plenty of sunshine in the afternoon, chilly, breezy, 44 for the high. Storm Tracker 2's 7-day forecast. Rain returns Friday evening. It continues Friday night and into Saturday morning. We should see some sunshine late Saturday, 50 for the high. The next weather system's here Sunday, 47. It is chilly Monday and Tuesday with snow showers into the 40s again by Wednesday.
Bill, thank you.
The death toll continues to climb tonight. We are in obviously an alert day. It's going to start to pick up very soon here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Just one note on the drought situation. I know we focus entirely on water and how much we get, but there's another piece to this.
Yeah.
It's the temperature. As we get into the cooler part of the year, we just don't get as much evaporation. So just getting into the cold season is going to help with that. And of course, also getting this widespread heavy rain absolutely does help the situation. Unfortunately, tonight, it's not just the rain, it's also the wind. This leading edge is expected to produce wind gusts between about 40 to 50 miles an hour. I think the worst of this is going to be south of the Mohawk Valley. I don't think this is going to affect everyone equally. I think the worst of this is going to be south, and a lot of this has to do with the cold air at the surface in the Mohawk Valley. It's a lot colder today than we were expecting, with cold air damming just getting entrenched in the Mohawk Valley, and that often serves as a buffer as these strong winds sweep in from the west. That cold air near the surface is very stable, and what we're hoping takes place is that the worst of the winds end up just going over that air, over that layer, and end up being aloft. And again, the bottom line is we're continuing to watch this. Latest wind gusts: Buffalo 40 miles an hour, Rochester 26, Ithaca 32. Again, current conditions 44 degrees. Again, look at the winds calm, at least for now, at Griffiths and Rome. We're going to continue to watch this cold front as it moves in from the west. We'll track the winds. We'll also track how long it's going to stay windy tonight. Look at the forecasts coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thanks. The Good News Center takes steps.
Brutal starting to pick up, right, Bill?
The winds are going to be picking up in the next couple of hours. We're watching the leading edge of this cold front still to the west as of now. It's moving into Syracuse. So we have about another 1 to 2 hours before this starts to roll in. And it's not going to affect everyone equally. I think the worst of this wind is going to be south of the Mohawk Valley. We could still see wind gusts over 50 miles an hour with this, but I think that's going to be more of the exception rather than the rule. Again, the good idea is plan on bringing things inside, tying things down, and making sure your phone is charged too, because there could be some scattered power outages here tonight. Temperature-wise, it's going to be chilly tomorrow, only in the 40s. We'll be near 50 Friday and Saturday, and we've got some pretty cold weather on the way for early next week, and it's not going to be a surprise for many of you when we get temperatures in the 30s this time of the year. It's pretty easy to get at least snow showers, and those are going to be in the forecast here early next week. I'm not seeing any big accumulation, but again, that is something on our radar. If you are taking the dog out for a walk this evening, earlier is better before this wind arrives. Temperatures will be in the 40s. Tonight's featured dog, Angel from Cooperstown. And if you want to be part of this, head to WKTV on Facebook. This is brought to you by Nissan. Jason, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. Oneonta police are...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good evening. We're keeping a close eye on winds tonight as a cold front moves in from the west. This is expected to produce gusty conditions later this evening. Let's take a live look outside. Oneonta, 48 degrees. This is a look at the expected wind gusts as we head into tonight. For most of us, it ranges between about 40 to 50 miles an hour. Strongest winds are possible south of the Mohawk Valley. I think there's going to be a little bit of a buffer zone here. The worst of this looks to be across southern Oneida, Madison County, northern Otsego, southern Herkimer County. And then to the north, the winds look a lot lighter in areas like Old Forge and Boonville. Still 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts. Again, enough to cause problems, enough to cause scattered power outages. This is not considered a large wind event. We're not expecting widespread damage, but again, there could be some issues here tonight. And we're starting to see that leading edge work in from the west, out towards Syracuse and Utica. This is where we're seeing some of the heavier rain. And again, further out is this big push of cooler weather. So we're going to see a period of heavy rain tonight. The winds will start to pick up this evening and in the wake of this cold front. And we're talking about windy conditions tonight and into Thursday. So this is kind of a breakdown of the timeline here. Again, strongest winds would be late this evening. From about 6 to 9 p.m. is when it starts, and it starts to subside tonight. Tonight, we're looking at windy conditions. The winds become less on Thursday. It's still breezy, a couple of flurries in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon. Reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Sky Watchers checking in. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Clinton 43, Barneveld 42, West Leiden 40. Old Forge 40, Inlet 41, Jeff and Mohawk 43, Skidivas 56, and Westford 51. Again, this cold front continues to march in, producing wind and a big drop in the temperature. You can look to the north, you can actually see some blue showing up. There's some snow showers at the tail end of this cold front, and we could see a few snow showers tonight, especially north of the Mohawk Valley. It's possible there could be a very light dusting of snow in areas like Boonville and Old Forge first thing tomorrow morning. A few flurries in the air early Thursday, but then we dry out. We're expecting sunshine to break out later in the day, temperatures in the 40s. Tomorrow night, the weather looks dry, and clouds will be returning as we head into Friday morning. The next weather system moves in from the west, and this produces another round of rain as we head into Friday night. Rain and snow showers tonight, windy, low of 36. Tomorrow, flurries in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon, a high of 44. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Temperatures will be close to 50 degrees on Friday and Saturday. Again, rain late Friday into Friday night. A few showers early Saturday. The next weather system arrives Sunday, producing more rain. This is expected to produce a big drop in temperature and a few snow showers in the forecast for Monday and Tuesday. Nothing big here, but it looks a lot colder with highs in the mid-30s. Then temperatures start to warm up by Wednesday. We'll be right back.
With Kristen Copeland and Jason Pallas.
You can see it, you may be able to hear it, and you can definitely feel it.
Yeah, Otsego, southern Oneida counties are under a high wind warning for at least the next 12 hours. We're going to go straight over to Chief Meteorologist Bill Kardas, who's tracking an alert day in the Weather Center.
Yeah, we're expecting these winds to pick up over the next couple of hours. This is the leading edge of the cold front, and I think that strong wind is only going to affect a portion of the area, and it's primarily south of the Mohawk Valley. I think the winds are going to be less intense in the Mohawk Valley, but still could be talking about gusts between about 40 to 50 miles an hour for many areas heading into this evening. Again, this is the leading edge of the cold front moving in from the west. There's plenty of rain that will be moving across central New York over the next couple of hours. Latest wind gusts, Rochester is now up to 38 miles an hour, Buffalo 31, Ithaca 31. And again, this wind is eventually going to move east. Current temperature 43 degrees at Griffiths and Rome. It's been a cool day. Our weather headlines, windy tonight, a few flurries early tomorrow morning. A generally active weather pattern is going to continue as we head throughout the rest of the week. Rain and wind this evening, temperatures in the 40s. We are tracking when the winds will subside tonight. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. National Grid says it's increasing staffing overnight in preparation of the wind, and the company has secured external resources to support power restoration efforts. So here's what you can do. Keep your generators outside, but if you're going to use them, make sure you disconnect from the national grid system first. Have your phone charged and a flashlight handy, and stay away from down power lines. If you depend electrically powered life support, if you depend on that, like respirators, National Grid wants to know. You can call them at 1-800-642-4272.
And the Oneida Herkimer Solid Waste Authority wants to keep garbage from flying around the neighborhood. If tonight is your garbage night, be sure that your garbage and recycling bins have secure lids, or just hold your bins until your next collection day if you can.
To secure 1,000.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good evening. We're continuing to monitor winds to the west. We're tracking a cold front that's sweeping through central New York. And we remain under a high wind warning in parts of central New York, specifically south of the Mohawk Valley. Live look in downtown Utica. It's wet. The winds haven't picked up yet. We're expecting this to happen tonight. After 7 to 9 p.m. is when it starts. The winds will be around overnight, and gusts are expected to get as high as 40 to 50 miles an hour, especially south of the Mohawk Valley. I think the winds will be a lot lighter as you head north. The North Country, the winds aren't expected to be as strong, with gusts between about 20 to 30 miles an hour. A couple of power outages are possible overnight, but this is not expected to be a widespread damaging wind event. Tonight, winds continue. Tomorrow, winds will be around, we're looking at gusts between 20 to 30 miles an hour. The winds get lighter here heading into tomorrow night. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Here's the leading edge of this front, and the winds are going to turn into the west here over the next couple of hours. It's going to usher in some much cooler weather. This rain does briefly turn to snow as we head into tonight. So here's the timetable of what to expect. The winds will be picking up over the next couple of hours. It's windy tonight. Again, scattered power outages expected. Breezy conditions tomorrow. A few flurries in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon. Again, it's still breezy, but it's not as gusty as it's going to be tonight. Reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Skywatchers, temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Clinton 43, West Leiden 40, Norway 44, Old Forge 40, and Westerville checking in with 51. This area of low pressure heads to the east tonight. Notice some snow on the northern side of this. Some of this happens locally. This rain does briefly turn over to snow tonight. Little accumulation is expected. Overnight lows drop down into the upper 30s. Tomorrow, we start out with a couple of flurries in the morning, mostly cloudy skies, sunshine in the afternoon. Temperatures climb into the 40s. Tomorrow night, the weather looks mostly clear early, and then clouds will begin to develop. Friday looks cloudy to start, with rain arriving in the afternoon and evening. Temperatures climb into the low 50s. Rain turning over to snow showers tonight. It's windy, low of 36. Tomorrow, flurries in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon, 44. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Rain returns late Friday, continues into Friday night and early Saturday. Temperatures near 50 degrees. Next round of rain on Sunday. Sharp drop in temperature. Snow showers. Highs only in the 30s on Monday and Tuesday. I know.
Get out the winter coat.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thanks, Bill. Still to come on.
The news with Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone. We'll get to those stories in just a minute. First, though, we're tracking the wind, making sure everything doesn't blow away overnight. We bring in Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. Where do things stand now? I see that they're up near 40 miles an hour in some places.
Yeah, not quite as high as we thought it would hit, but it's still gusting 30, 40 miles an hour here tonight. The good news is I think we're past the peak of this. You can see Sherburne 42 miles an hour, Brookfield 41, Lawrence 38. I think things are going to be winding down and getting less as we head throughout the night. So as long as these numbers don't go up any further, we won't have any serious problems tonight in terms of power outages or any damage. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Rain is switching over to snow showers across the North Country. And we look to the west. There's more rain here. And again, the wind is going to continue as we head into tonight. Again, you can see wind gusts 30 to about 40 miles an hour across New York State. Current temperature 43, Griffiths and Rome west-northwest wind at 16 miles an hour. And again, we're tracking windy conditions tonight. few flurries early tomorrow morning and a very active weather pattern ahead. We have multiple chances for additional rain, along with some much colder weather looking ahead. Rain and snow showers, windy tonight, temperatures in the 30s. Tracking, again, active weather heading into the weekend. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Now, National Grid said it is increasing its staff overnight just in case the wind is bad. The company has secured external resources to support power restoration efforts just in case. And if you do lose power, here's some storm safety issues. Keep generators outside, but if you're going to use them, make sure you disconnect from National Grid system first. Have your phone charged, flashlight handy, and stay away from downed power lines. Very important. Last month, the governor
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. It is windy out there tonight. Thankfully, the winds have not reached severe limits, and they haven't caused too much problem tonight so far. We're continuing to track some rain on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It is changing over to snow and higher elevations. This is going to bring a very minor accumulation of snowfall for the hilltops tonight, and that also could bring a few flurries to our area as we head into tomorrow. This is all in the wake of a cold front that continues to move east. This area of low pressure continues to bring wind tomorrow, although it won't be as strong as what we're dealing with tonight. So it's a windy day tomorrow, not like this evening. The winds will be backing off Friday. It's breezy, and then generally light winds for Saturday and Sunday are to be expected. A reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Tomorrow night, clear skies are expected, at least early on, and there's expected to be a piece of energy that comes from the sun that could really produce a show. The possibility of the Northern Lights tomorrow, the Space Weather Prediction Center is calling for a G3 storm. That would be geomagnetic storm. And if that's the case, we could see this locally. We will keep you posted. As we look at the bigger picture, again, low pressure continues to swing through, cloudy skies tonight, on and off rain showers switching over to flurries as we head into tomorrow morning. Temperatures drop into the upper 30s. Thursday looks like a cloudy start. We'll get a couple of flurries in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon, breezy, temperatures in the 40s. The weather remains dry tomorrow night. Again, we're looking at clear skies early, followed by clouds. Temperatures climb into the 50s Friday afternoon, with widespread rain expected later in the day. Tonight, rain turning over to some snow showers, windy. Again, higher elevations could pick up a light accumulation, a low temperature of 36. Tomorrow, flurries in the morning, looking at sunshine in the afternoon, and a high of 44. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Friday, rain returns late, 50 for the high. Rain Friday night into early Saturday. Looking at temperatures near 50 degrees. Sunday, widespread rain returns 47, and it's much colder with snow showers and temperatures only in the 30s looking ahead to Monday and Tuesday. We'll be right back.
The news with Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get to those stories in a minute. But first, we've been telling you about the possibility of high winds overnight. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. He's tracking the very latest. We've had some gusts, but we could be out of the woods, which would be good news.
Yeah, the winds have peaked out right now. We've been seeing gusts between about 35 to 45 miles an hour, which is enough to cause, obviously enough to notice, but it's not quite high enough to cause any serious issues here. Brookfield 45 miles an hour, the strongest gust. Lawrence 38, Herkimer 34, Westmoreland 31. I'm expecting the winds to remain consistent and slightly decrease as we head into tonight. So live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Widespread rain showers. These have switched over to snow showers in some of the higher elevations, and we're going to continue to track winds here as we head into tonight. Current conditions at Griffiths and Rome, 41 degrees. That west-northwest wind at 18 miles an hour. Again, the winds will be dying off as we head into tonight. A few flurries early tomorrow morning. A very active weather pattern is ahead. Temperatures tonight in the 30s. I'm tracking a drier Thursday and another weather system arriving late Friday. We'll look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Last month, the governor signed a piece of legislation that will allow places like Utica to enact an occupancy tax. And tonight,
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. We've got wind and we've got rain, and we're even seeing some snow in some of the higher elevations. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. This widespread precipitation is going to continue to move to the east, and we will get a chance to dry out tonight. The higher elevations that are seeing some snow, it's looking to be on the lighter side. We're looking at just a coating to as much as an inch of snow, especially on some of those hilltops. Windy conditions tomorrow, not as strong as what we're dealing with tonight. Breezy conditions Friday. The winds become lighter as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Reminder, you can get weather information on your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. The northern lights might be out tomorrow night. There's a piece of energy that's on its way from the sun towards Earth, and this could interact with the atmosphere, producing the northern lights. The Storm Prediction Center is calling this a G3. It's a geomagnetic storm. It's rated on a scale of 1 to 5. A 3 would be bright enough to produce the northern lights at our area, at our latitude, and it might even be visible to the naked eye. So we'll have to see if this plays out. And space weather forecasting is incredibly difficult. But again, there's an opportunity for that tomorrow. We will have to contend with some clouds, but there is a chance that we might be able to see them. We'll have an update tomorrow. Radar and satellite image, a low pressure swings through tonight, and again, it's been producing some wind. We'll see the tail end of rain and snow showers here overnight. Temperatures will drop down into the upper 30s. Thursday, starting out with mostly cloudy skies, we could see a flurry early. Temperatures climb into the mid-40s with a return to sunshine later in the day. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Clouds will thicken up into Friday, looking at mostly cloudy skies Friday afternoon. Widespread rain looks to return late in the day with temperatures near 50 degrees. A mix of rain and snow showers tonight, windy, low temperature of 36. Flurries in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon. For tomorrow, a high of 44. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Cloudy on Friday, a temperature of 50. We're looking at rain late. Rain Friday night into Saturday. That ends the upper 40s on Sunday. And we are tracking the next weather maker, looking ahead to Monday and Tuesday. Just a few flurries by that point. Much colder weather ahead.
all right. Thanks very much, Bill. Coming up next,